Multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. To multiply fractions, we're going to multiply the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. Remember when we were adding and subtracting, we had to find the common denominator and then we left the denominator alone. When we're multiplying fractions, that's not going to be the case. We're going to multiply both the numerators together and then both the denominators together. Another way that you can think about this is to multiply straight across on top and on bottom. Examples, if you look at the first example, we have 1/4 times 2 over 3. When we're multiplying fractions, we could go straight across and we could go 1 times 2 is 2 and 4 times 3 is 6, and then we would have 2/6, but those are both even numbers and we would have to simplify if we wanted our full points when you take your test. We can do something called cross-canceling. When you cross-cancel, you're going to look at the numerator of one fraction and the denominator of the other. So there are two different chances that you have to cross-cancel. If you look at this first example, we have 1/4 times 2/3. If you look at the numerator 1 and the denominator 3, notice they're coming from the different fractions. If you look at 1 and 3, no number besides 1 can go into both 1 and 3, so we cannot simplify or cross-cancel at all. But if you look at the numbers 2 and 4, notice 2 is from the numerator of my second fraction, and 4 is the denominator of my first. If you look at 2 and 4, you notice that 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. So we can cross these out, and our answers have to be in simplest form. We can cross out 2 and we can cross out 4, and we're going to divide. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now I can multiply straight across on top, and I get 1 times 1 is 1, and straight across on the bottom, which is 2 times 3, which is 6. If you look at the next example, we have -5 over 6 times 3 over 8. We have a negative times a positive, so we should be able to remember our integer rules and say that our answer is going to be a negative. If you look for cross-canceling, if you look at 5 and 8 first, no number can go into both 5 and 8 besides 1. So we're going to keep it, the 5 and the 8, we have to leave those alone. We cannot cross-cancel. But if you look at the 3 and the 6, notice that those are both divisible by 3. So we can cross out 3 and cross out 6, and we can say 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now when I multiply straight across, remember a negative times a positive is a negative, 5 times 1 is 5, and 2 times 8 is 16. So my answer is -5 over 16, or -5/16. If you look at this last example on this page, you have 7 over 3 times 14 over 15. Notice when you're looking for cross-canceling, we have 3 and 15, which are both divisible by 3. And then if you look at the other combination that we could cross-cancel, we have 7 and 14, which are both divisible by 7. So in this case, I'm going to be able to cross-cancel both sets of numerator and denominators. I'm going to start, in this case, I'm just going to start with 14 and 7. It doesn't matter where you start, though. If you look at 14 and 7 and divide both by 7, 14 divided by 7 is 2, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. Now when you cross out 3 and 15, which are both divisible by 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now when you multiply straight across, we're going to multiply what we've changed the numbers to. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 5 is 5. So our answer is 2/5. Now, you don't have to cross-cancel to multiply fractions. What cross-canceling does, though, is it reduces the amount of simplifying that you're going to have to do in the end. So you're okay, you could have done 3 times 14 and 7 times 15, but you're going to end up with really big numbers, and answer is not going to be in simplest form. When you cross cancel, you still have to be careful and you have to double check, make sure that you don't have an improper fraction, or make sure that you can't simplify anymore. But you're gonna be dealing with smaller numbers than you would be if you had not cross canceled at all, which generally means that you're gonna make fewer mistakes. To multiply mixed numbers, you have to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. To change, remember, from mixed numbers to improper fractions, you multiply the denominator times the whole number, and then you add the numerator, and your denominator stays the same. We talked about this yesterday when we talked about adding and subtracting mixed numbers when we had to find a common denominator. Once you've changed them to improper fractions, you're still going to multiply the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator, and you will still be able to cross cancel if the problem allows. This first example, we have 2 1/6 times 1 1/4. If you look at 2 1/6, to change 2 1/6 to an improper fraction, we do 6 times 2, which is 12, plus 1 is 13, times 1 1/4 as an improper fraction, you do 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 1 is 5. So we end up with 13/6 times 5/4. If you look at what we can cross cancel, we have 13 and 4. 13 is a prime number. No number besides 1 and 13 can go into it. There is no number that can go into 13 and 4. If you look at the other combination, we have 6 and 5. Well, 6 and 5, besides 1, there's nothing that can go into both of them. So we're out of luck on cross-canceling. We just have to multiply. So we're going to do 13 times 5, which is 65, I'm sorry. 13 times 5 is 65, and then 6 times 4 is 24. Notice that we have an improper fraction. I have a larger number on top of a smaller number, so I need to divide 65 divided by 24. It goes into it 2 times, and I have 17 left over. So my answer is 2 17/24. The next example says 4 1/2 times 2 2/3. Remember, change them both to improper fractions. To change 4 1/2 to an improper fraction, you do 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1 is 9. Leave your denominator alone, so 9/2. Times, change 2 2/3 to an improper fraction, you do 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 2 is 8. Leave your denominator alone, you have 8/3. Now when you look for cross-canceling, we're going to look at the 9 and the 3. Those are both divisible by 3. And we're going to look at the 8 and the 2. Those are both divisible by 2. So I can cross-cancel in both cases. I'm going to cross out the 8 and the 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now I'm going to cross out the 9 and the 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. When we multiply straight across here, we have 3 times 4, which is 12, over 1 times 1, which is 1. When you have any number written over 1, your answer is just going to be that number. It's going to become the whole number. Or you could think of this as 12 divided by 1. Well, 12 divided by 1 is just 12. So my answer is 12. Today's assignment is on page 41. It's numbers 12 through 23 all.